Shalom Alaikum. This is the Master Teacher, Apostle T.E., coming at you live and in living color. Listen, of course, I'm sitting in the captain's seat for the one, the apostle, the prophet, today on today's truth session. And listen, we're excited about it today. We're going to talk about an awesome topic. We're going to be dealing with unscrambling trauma. Yes, we're still on the topic of dealing with trauma. And today we're going to unscramble trauma. We're going to strategically place some words and use some words that tie into trauma, where you can see how everything connects, how we unravel things, how things nestle up in our lives, and we have to unravel those things and unscramble them. So we're going to deal with that today. And again, we want to say Shalom Alaikum, Assalamu Alaikum, Abaragani, Inhotep, Amani Kaka, Amani Dada, Bonjour, and of course, Hola. Listen, as you populate, hit that share button. It's not too early to hit the share button. Listen, we want to share as much as we possibly can. We want to get as many dialed in. And let me just say right now, we respect and honor your Saturdays, your time. We understand that it's critical for you. Oftentimes on the weekend, we get an opportunity to take care of those things that we didn't get an opportunity to do during the weekday. So we value your time and we respect it. Listen, time is not our enemy, and of course it's not our friend, but we embrace it because once it's gone, we can't get it back. So we have regards for it. And listen, again, the one is out on location, and as always, it's an honor and a privilege to be sitting in the captain's seat. And if I can say directly, standing in the captain's seat today, we're going to talk about, once again, unscrambling trauma. Listen, tell someone about it. Email someone, hit that share button, text them, call them, whatever you have to do. If you know that someone is dealing with some trauma, and you know that this information can be life-changing for them, you need to reach out to them. And listen, the one has been really hitting us with some powerful, life-changing, healing information these past Saturdays, these past truth sessions, and they've been really taking us to the place in our mind where we can really get healed. We can heal ourselves, and I like it. There are times when he used to tell his children, listen, go over there and heal yourself. Man, that's a true thing. You can heal yourself at times. You can go to places where you can go and reach deep down on the inside of that place where you actually feel it calling you. And you can heal yourself. Sometimes it's just sitting in a quiet place. But of course, there are times when someone above you, someone with some information, someone with some experience, some wisdom, and some counsel who can help you get through what you're dealing with. And so we want to take that opportunity to really plug into it and, man, reach out to the one. Listen, I'm a living witness that he can help you. He can salvage those things. Yes, he can be the savior for you. Listen, religiously, they've taught us that the Son of the Almighty One was the only savior. But I submit to you, we're all saviors. We were created to be saviors. We were created to unscramble, unravel, dethrone trauma. We were constructed in the constitution of our makeup, listen, to get out of whatever situation we're in. Why? Because the answers have been given unto us. It has been placed in our midst, put in a place where we just sometimes have to go get it. And it takes work. It takes striving sometimes. It takes dealing with those areas in our lives that we don't want to deal with because they're uncomfortable. They make us vulnerable. But listen, I'm going to show you today that some trauma is actually good to get you to the next place and where you need to be anyway. See, we deal with things where we have the ability to heal ourselves, to deliver ourselves, and go in and get information that's already housed on the inside of us. So no matter what the situation and circumstance or circumstances are, we got answers for them. How many of you remember the movie Next with Nicolas Cage? I remember the one talking about this. He viewed and tested every possibility of a certain outcome. So what I'm telling you, whatever we deal with in life, there are alternatives. There are other infinite possibilities to get us out of those situations. We just haven't tapped into them. But I submit to you the information that we receive here in the truth session. Listen, it's mind-blowing. It's life-changing. and we just don't give you anything. We take an opportunity or take the opportunity to muse over the information, research and meditate upon it, and give ourselves wholly to it, that our profiting, your profiting can appear to all. And so listen, if you've been blessed, if you've been transformed by this information, go ahead and give us some of these emojis. Give us a thumb up, give us the heart, give us everything, give us the laughter. We even talked about laughter. Listen, hit those laughter emojis as well. Come on, we're going to look back and laugh at these situations, because yes, we've looked at trauma through the eyes of fantasy, as the one was talking about. But now we have the information, we can take that fantasy and reverse it. And that's what we're seeking to do now, reverse the trauma by unscrambling those things, those words, those thoughts, those energies that have come to plague us. Listen, give me a second here as you populate. Let me go ahead and get myself set up. I'm excited about this. Listen, there's nothing I would rather be doing but doing this. Researching and finding information and, being with the one and bringing out what's going to be most beneficial for us. All right. Give us a second here. We see that Elder Gibbs in the house, Elder Gibbs, Shalom Aleichem. Our very own Sister Shakisha in the house. Of course, Sergeant at Arms, Kiana Grant. Welcome, greeting. Of course, the one, the master in the house, the master teacher, the one, the apostle, the prophet. Listen, we come to unscramble today. Our very own Sister KD Hall in the house. You better ask somebody. All right, Joseph Lovelady in the house. Our very own Sister Lavelle. Come on, y'all, talk to us today. We got the talkback system. I like the talkback system that the one has instituted, has talked about, has set a foundation, the talkback system. And listen, don't forget to tell us where you're hailing from. And while you're doing that, hit that share button one more time. And come on, somebody in bold letters put unscramble trauma. Unscramble trauma. Then after you do that twice, hit unscrambling. Unscramble is an act, a state, of process. But if you say unscrambling, you're constantly doing it. All right, as you are populating, let me take a station identification break. Listen, y'all. Our very own Sister KD I'm telling you, I thought the late Michael Jackson was bad. Who's bad? Sister KD, she can make these drinks, y'all. As a song, someone go ahead and wet my whistle before I begin. Yeah, this is unscrambling some things too. Come on, y'all. Put those thumbs in the air for Sister Katie Hall. Always, always looking out for the one, the master teacher, always. We appreciate her so much. How many of y'all ready to get this party started? Listen, let's talk about some things here. Unscrambling trauma. I want to put some definitions out because I'm strategically using these definitions and breaking down this word because they're tying into what trauma is doing, and it's unraveling and unscrambling them. So let me give you the definition here and get started. Let's talk about this, unscrambling or unscramble. And listen, throughout the broadcast, please, again, put where you're hailing from. And also, if you've got a business, make sure you put that on the timeline. We love to promote your business. This is free advertisement for us, and we like to promote one another. That's what it's all about. And if we could use the term again, FUBU, for us, by us. And because it's for us, we're going to buy us and not shy away from we as a people, what we do. You know, we establish different businesses and institutions, and we need to constantly patronize each other's business so that we can continue to advance and take part in the wealth distribution. Listen, if we don't do it, who will? We know that there are laws and precepts and concepts set up in sections and areas so that we don't prosper. And we have to recognize that we have to bombard this situation, this economy, this system, this systemic nonsense, this systemic racism and classism. We have to attack it. And one way we do it by hitting the pockets. This was going to take finances. But watch this. Unscramble or unscrambling as a verb. To bring out of a scrambled or scrambled condition. To reduce or order, reduce to order or intelligibly. Wow. Also descramble. It means to make or, watch this, a scrambled radio or telephonic message. It also means comprehensible by systematically tuning the receiver to the frequencies used in the transmission. So now our and we're going to talk about one of the places where what we say, what we do oftentimes are put in a place where things are intelligible, can't be comprehended, can't be decoded. And so we have to deal with that aspect of us when trauma hits us. So now that's unscrambled. Now watch this. We see our very own Sister Dorothy O'Bannon in the house. Shalom, shalom, Sister O'Bannon. All right. Let me get to another part of that word. I'm going to introduce these words here so that you can see where we're going with this. Now, if you can see this, under the teacher will appear, the word scrambling. We want to deal with it. And a lot of these words actually can take on a different form. Scramble also can take on a noun and also a verb, just as unscrambling or scrambling. So we're going to deal with the word scrambling. Watch this. To climb or crawl, especially by using hands or the hands to aid movement. 2, it means to proceed hurriedly or in a disorderly fashion. To compete with others, especially in disorderly manner. 4, to deal with hurriedly and unsystematically. So you have to see what trauma does. It's coming to cause you to scramble, to walk and to proceed forward in a disorderly manner. That's deep. To be disorderly. It means to compete with order. If you ever noticed during boxing, when the boxer might have gotten hit or the opponent has gotten the upper hand, and then the one that might be losing or appear to be losing, anytime he's out of order, what happens? The situation tends to get worse. He tends to move in a disorderly manner. When that happens, it throws off your game plan. Someone else has the power over you. Why? Because now you're in a disarray. So you're moving disorderly. Well, that's what scrambling means. And also, watch this. How many of you watched football and the quarterback got the snap and he bagged up and he's in the pocket, and all of a sudden they started to attack? They started to bombard him, and then he started running from side to side. That's scrambling. What is he doing? In a disorderly manner, he's trying to get away from the defender. He's trying to get away from the tacklers. So what we have to do is get away from trauma. We have to scramble a little bit. We have to come out of the pocket, come out of our comfort zone, sometimes experience those things that are uncomfortable so that we can get to a place where we can now spot up, or face the situation and deal with it. Sometimes it takes us to scramble a little bit. That's our defensive mechanism. It kicks in. Watch this. It also means to deal with hurriedly and unsystematically. So now, in order for us to come out of a place of trauma, we have to move in a systematic manner, not an unsystematic manner, because what that does is cause you to be disorderly and disarray, cause you to have your faculties not intact, cause you to think in an absurd manner, in an inordinate manner. Why? Because trauma has done that to you. But we're going to talk about some things in a minute dealing with this trauma. Just give me a second. I'm building here. And as you see in the background, I have certain words here, and I purposely put them in your eye gates. Unscrambling, scramble, scram, rambling, amble or ambling. I'm going to stop right there here for just a second. All right. So we've got some words that we're actually strategically unscrambling. Now let's go to scram. Got to see how this ties into trauma. All right, take a quick moment once again and hit that share button. Hit that share button. Now watch this, the word scram. If you can see that, go ahead and give me the thumbs up. All right. There we go. All right, the word scram. It means leave or go away from a place quickly. As in, get out of here. You miserably wretched. Scram, as an example. 2 means to shut down, as a nuclear reactor in emergency. And watch what it says. When the power is cut off, the unit will automatically scram the reactor. In other words, it automatically shuts the thing down. So now we're unscrambling trauma. What we're doing is causing its reactors to shut down. This is an emergency situation. Trauma is an emergency situation, or trauma comes as a result of an emergency situation. So what we're doing is using these words to shut down, to scram trauma. We're shutting down its reactor. What does reactor represent? Something that takes place after another thing has been instituted or has engaged. So we're scrambling the signal. Trauma sends out certain signals, certain frequencies. So what we're doing is scrambling the signal right now. All right. That's the word scram. Now let's get with ramble. Just give me a second. I'm placing these words in your eye gates. We see our very own brother JP Hall, the prophet, has dialed in. Of course, his hands are busy here doing a number of things here in the studio. Sister Tracy Love has joined in. Welcome. Shalom. Greetings. All right. Rambling. Watch this. Aimlessly wandering. Watch this. Taking an irregular course. Straggling or rambling, as in a rambling brook. So now we see that trauma causes you to take, what is that? An aimless wandering path. Taking an irregular course. An irregular course. In other words, trauma will take you off course. It will take you into a tributary. And so now I understand the use of words. I'm not just breaking down words. I understand their usage. I understand how to strategically place them. So using these words is actually unscrambling or breaking down the word trauma. And so we see that scram, what it does is causing the aimless wandering to actually line back up, to array itself, to cause things to align in your hemispheres, in your thought processes. It's taking you off an irregular course and putting you back on course, taking you off that straggling course. But watch this. It also means to spread out irregularly in various directions. Wow. So what are we saying? Trauma causes you to spread out. It causes you to send out signals and sonars in various directions. And so when you've gone through trauma, listen, other people that have experienced trauma actually can pick it up. And then those who capitalize off people experiencing trauma, they pick up those signals too. Why? Because things shoot out in various directions. Those energies come out. And you have people just weighing in a balance, waiting to take advantage of those who experience trauma. So that's why we have to strategically, and I'm telling you, place these words in the atmosphere so that we can cause our very own people to come out of what they're dealing with. Listen, there is a solution to it. And we are the solutions to one another. I'm not expecting anybody else to come in and heal me. One, I'm going to heal myself. Two, if I don't have the words, I know I can go to the one and get the words. If the one is not available, I know I've got my brothers and sisters, brother J.P. Hall, sister Katie Hall. Listen, we have words for one another. We've spoken words to one another to bring about healing. Sometimes we don't have to say nothing. We just come in each other's presence. Hadn't seen you all week. I enter into your presence. Now all that I've dealt with tends to dissipate. Why? We're on the same frequency, like-minded. So things like that take place automatically. It's an automatic response. All right. Now, that's rambling. Also, straying from one subject to another. Desultory. So straying from one subject to another. Nothing in an organized manner. So now you've got random thoughts that are hitting you. And in the midstream of what you're talking about, you go off course and start talking about something else and forget about the path that you were on. Trauma will do that to you. But what we're doing now is unscrambling that. We're taking that signal and we're unscrambling, but simultaneously we're rewriting the signal so that you can get on the right path. All right, let me get to this next one. This one here is big. All right, let me check here real quickly for any comments on here. Sister Shakisha said the blessing of presence. Absolutely. Yes. All right. We see that unscrambling on that timeline. Come on, why don't you type that in again? Unscrambling. All right, if you can see that under the teacher will appear, we're talking about the word, and thank you for those who are putting that on the timeline, unscrambling. Now we've got the word amble. The word amble or ambling is in the word scrambling. Watch this. Watch what it means. Amble means to walk at a leisure, relaxed pace, as of a horse, to move slowly, lifting both legs on one side together. 3, it means to ride a horse at an amble or a leisurely pace. As a noun, a leisurely motion in walking. A leisurely walk, the ambling gale of a horse. In other words, how many of you have seen a horse simultaneously just trot? That's ambling. So what's happening is, what we're doing is shutting down those free radicals. What we're doing is shutting down that nervous energy that's all over the place. What we're actually doing is slowing you down and put you at a trot, because it's leisure. It's a leisurely pace. Not only that, it's causing you to contemplate things. It's causing you to settle yourself in your mind. That's what meditation does. So now, strategically using words will do that to you. It'll cause you to actually contemplate what you've been dealing with, what's going on in your life. Listen, it allows you to not only connect with yourself, but also it allows you, when you leisurely, man, to think about what someone else has gone through. You'll start thinking about it. You'll start contemplating. I know when I sit in my quiet time and think about some things that I'm contemplating, listen, I'll automatically connect with somebody else. And wait a minute, I recall them saying a certain thing or doing a certain thing. And I end up revisiting it. Why? Because that's what it does. That's what that level of meditation does. That's what that level of ambling does. It causes you to connect with those other things that you know you should be connecting with, and also speaking to, strategically speaking those words. But watch this. To leisurely, or to in a relaxed manner, as if trotting, walking. Oh, come on here. That's awesome. But watch this. Watch this place of trauma that's dealing with the word ambling. And I've got to show it to you. Look at this. Underneath the word amble or ambling is preamble. Wow. Preamble. Watch this. How many of you recall what the preamble is? We the people of the United States. The preamble of the Constitution. That's right, brother J.P. Hall. The preamble of the Constitution. We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish the Constitution of America. That's trauma right there, because it's one big lie. Oh, talk to me. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility. There is no domestic tranquility here in America. Not with, oh, come on, not with us. Ensure domestic tranquility in order to form a more perfect union. There's no perfection about this European system. Provide for the common defense. Promote the general welfare. General welfare who? It says secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. Last time I checked, our offspring represent our posterity. But yet you incarcerating them. You killing them by the scores. I don't see preservation there. So now you look at the word unscramble. You have amble in there, where we get preamble, where it has caused trauma to us. So what are we doing? We're bringing those things out. See, as a kid, we used to hear those cartoons. We used to hear those different songs about that, about the preamble, about the Constitution, Schoolhouse Rock. We heard all of that stuff. Now that we're older, we can understand it and dissect it. We see that it was all a lie. That preamble has nothing to do with the human and woman, because I don't see domestic tranquility. I don't see commonality. Yet your coming may not be my coming, but I don't see a commonality with the human and our European counterparts at all. So it's not that everybody has their own common. What I see is something that's inordinate. We see inordinate on the other side. We see subjugation. So what do we have to do? Again, human and human, I'm admonishing you. I'm admonishing you today to change your thought processes. I saw someone on Facebook said, black men, stop killing one another. And I'm paraphrasing it. That's the truth, man. Stop killing one another. Stop fighting one another. We're fighting something that has, man, that's far beyond what we can even imagine. Some of us have not even come into the knowledge that we think it doesn't exist. It's there. We have to stop fighting one another. We have to stop, man, surmounting one another, trying to prove something. Man, that has been there for such a long time. Trying to outdo one another. No, outdo yourself. I've always done that in my life. I've tried to outdo myself. Got to the next level. Man, let me see if I can get to the next level of who I am. Come on now. We've got to deal with that level of trauma. Watch this. our presence, our positive presence can cause healing to take place. And I'm going to get to that here. Let me put this on it before I say this. Watch this. Let me read these comments real quickly. I see the unscrambling, and the one says, spit that fire. Come on. Listen, we together can spit some fire. We can spit it. Provide for the common defense. Sister Rhonda Moore says, promote the general welfare. Yeah, that's right. The preamble was not written for us. You're absolutely correct. It's masked under we the people. Well, who are we? Stop competing with, stop competing with one another. Listen, I don't need to compete with my brother. There's enough wealth in America where we all can have our common. But what we should be doing is helping one another get there. All right. Brother Danny Hardy says, right, my brother. Peace, peace, one love, one love. All right, watch this. I want to play something here in your eye gates from the University of Zurich entitled not only trauma, but also the reversal of trauma is inherited. That's deep. Not only trauma, but also the reversal of trauma is inherited. Let me put this piece out here real quickly. It's going to tie in exactly what we're talking about. If you can see that under, the teacher will appear. And since you're here, that means the student must be ready. Listen, we're all student of information. Go ahead and put those thumbs in there. Take a moment right now to hit those emojis. Don't forget to hit the laughter as well. We talked about that, what laughter does. Man, it reverses the trauma, because within the word itself, man, it is loaded. So we got to hit those emojis and put it and flood the timeline. All right, watch this. Not only trauma, but also the reversal of trauma is inherited. Let me go ahead and take a moment and again wet my whistle here. Listen, if you desire to be on the air, call 217-697-4531. I'm quite sure that information will be placed on the timeline. If you want to be live on the air with the master teacher, watch this. Not only trauma, but also the reversal of trauma is inherited. Man, this is deep. Date, June 23rd, 2016. The source, University of Zurich. Watch what this summary says. Behaviors caused by traumatic experiences in early life are reversible. And of course, yes, we understand that. Watch this. Researchers could demonstrate that environmental enrichment allows traumatic related symptoms in mice to be reversed. This is the first evidence that the positive environmental factors can correct behavioral alterations, which would otherwise be transmitted to the offspring. Wow. Man, that's awesome. The symptoms and their reversal are associated with epigenetic regulation, oh my goodness, of the glucocorticoid receptor gene. That's powerful. It said the epigenetic regulation. Watch this. How many of you recall some time ago the one talking about epigenetic inheritance? So what he was dealing with was the fact that there is a part of our DNA that have not been written on called the epigenetic inheritance. And what it does is, listen, you can be written on or influenced, and it'll become a part of your DNA, and you'll give birth to it. You'll start acting it out. You'll say, wait a minute, why is my child acting like this? This didn't come down our bloodline. Why? Because somebody wrote on us. So we've got to guard ourselves, guard our thoughts, guard our heart, guard our minds. So it says here that we actually can reverse it by writing in that place, the environment, our environment. So it's actually telling us that we can unscramble trauma by placing ourselves in a positive environment. I want you to stop and think about that. How many of you have been dealing with some situations and you call the one, and really before you can get a word out, your environment start changing? The positive environment actually begin to reverse the trauma. The words that he used begin to reverse the trauma. Listen, watch this. Just recently, the other day, I came in contact with a student. I saw a student down. You can see that she was in tears. And I said, come here, come here, talk to me. And so rather than allowing her to pick up her bags, I went over and got them. What was I doing? Treating her like a queen. Went and grabbed her bags, took them, come and go with me. I said, now, you can talk to me. We got that kind of relationship. You can talk to me. I said, but guess what? I'm not going to force you to talk. When you're ready, let me know. Just go ahead and have a seat. So I went and sat down. Exactly 1 minute later, I jumped up and grabbed my chair. So, okay, 1 minute has passed. You ready to talk? What did I do? I took her out of that place in her mind where she was angry. I made her laugh. I said, 1 minute has passed. I grabbed a chair, sat right up next to her and leaned on her. What did she do? She started smiling. She turned away. She was trying to hold in her smile. We started talking. What did I do? I took what she was dealing with and I inserted my energy, my positive environment in her environment. Guess what? It made her talk. She was dealing with some things at home. And I told her, I gave her counsel and told her how to handle it. Told her sometimes what you do may be misunderstood, maybe misconstrued. But what you have to do, what do you have to do when things are misconstrued? You have to take it back and not overreact to certain things. You got to put yourself in a place where you got to hear first. You got to listen. If not, it's going to be taken the wrong way. Why? Because you reacted rather than responded. And we just had a long talk. Before you know it, she's up smiling. Boom. She went on her merry way. Guess what? I inserted a positive environment in her environment. Man, it took her out of the thing. And the rest of the day, she was on the top of the world. Why? It's talking about it right here. Research is saying this. Research is saying this. Let me read this again. Behaviors caused by traumatic experience in early life are reversible. Researchers could demonstrate that environmental enrichment allows traumatic symptoms in mice to be reversed. This is the first evidence that positive environmental factors, there it is again, positive environmental factors can connect or correct behavioral alterations which would otherwise be transmitted to the offspring. So in other words, we know that trauma can be transmitted or transferred to the offspring, and the offspring, even though the offspring have not even experienced trauma, they will grow up, experience the exact same things that you've experienced, react the exact same way, deal with trauma. But the positive environment will actually begin the process of reversing it. So listen, I submit to you, I don't allow people that have negativity, always speaking negatively about things, always down, always complaining. I don't allow them in my environment. If they come in, either they're going to change or they're going to be dismissed. That's the bottom line. I don't allow coworkers that complain, talk about leadership. I dismiss them. I'm sorry, I don't operate that way. Whatever you're dealing with, if you need some help, let's talk about it. But you're not bringing that negative energy into my environment and leaving it there. I'm going to dismiss it and you. And so they already know this is how I operate. Listen, 100% of the time, I'm operating in a place of shalom, in a place of peace. I don't care what's going on around me. You've got to operate and stay in that place. Doesn't mean everything has to be chaotic because chaotic situations occur. You have to remain in control of yourself because you never know who might need that. And so when I got in, this young lady needed that level of energy. That's a powerful thing. All right. Let me look at this timeline again. Sister Shakisha Love says, sadly, by the time most of us are aware of our need to address trauma, we have already passed it on epigenetically. This is why getting this information to our youth and addressing their trauma is so important for our future. Gratitude. Appreciate the love, Sister Shakisha. That is so true. Oftentimes we have already passed it on. We've already sent that level of negative energy down our bloodline. But information like this halts it in its tracks and reverses it. It causes a process of reversal automatically. Why? Because words are strategically placed. They have no other alternative but to operate like that. Why? Because the atmosphere is conducive for it. It's conducive for it. Again, I've watched the one at conferences use certain words, certain movements, promote certain atmospheres, and cause things to happen before he even said a word, before he even began to minister, before he began to speak to someone. His atmosphere was already conducive for change. And I've witnessed people changing before he said a word to them. That's the level of energy. That's the level of wisdom and counsel. That's the gifting that has been placed on the Constitution, in the Constitution of his makeup. So I'm telling you, these situations might be there, but watch this. They actually can get us to the next place of who we are. Now you say, how can trauma do that? Well, remember I talked about our epigenetic inheritance, or talked about getting to a place where now it's a defensive mechanism something that automatically kicks in for survival. Well, all it's doing is peeling off the next layer of who we are. So when we place ourselves in the right environment, guess what? It causes us to deal with that trauma that we're dealing with, but the next you come out. So oftentimes we're in such a bad state that we don't recognize the fact that we've actually elevated. We've actually put ourselves in a place where now I've just peeled off some of that dead skin, that dead layer. I've removed it. And so now because of that, I've dealt with it for so long, and I've had to use so much energy and so much information that I've actually placed myself in a cocoon of information. I've transformed or metamorphosed. I've transformed and changed my form and my shape into someone else, or the next one of who I am, or the best one of who I am. Information will do that. Why? Because we're setting a foundation. It's in formation, as the one says. It has formed on the inside. And because of that, it changes who we are. All right. Come on real quickly. Hit that share button. Hit that share button. Hit that share button once again. All right. Let me hit you with a little bit more information, and listen, we'll put a pin there. Let's talk about this. Oh, let me put this on the timeline that's connected with what I just said. And then I have one other piece that I want to give you. And again, I'm not attempting to save anyone, but we utilize the sacred text because they're our sacred text. They're our genealogy. But this is not an attempt, again, to save anyone, because you can save yourself. As it says, save yourselves from this untoward generation. Look at this. Sephar Mishalet, Proverbs 24:14. Watch what it says. So shall the knowledge of wisdom be unto thy soul. When thou hast found it, then there shall be a reward, and thy expectation shall not be cut off. So shall the knowledge of wisdom be unto thy soul, that when you found it, then there shall be a reward, and then thy expectation shall not be cut off. What am I saying? The first part said, so shall the knowledge of wisdom be unto our soul. It didn't say wisdom. It says the knowledge of wisdom. So now we recognize the fact the knowledge of being in a positive environment automatically starts the reversal process. So shall the knowledge of being in the environment be that when you found it, then there shall be a reward. And after the reward, your expectation shall not be cut off. Why? You've placed yourself in the environment. And so now the knowledge of the fact that if I surround myself with positive people, automatically it starts a process of reversal or unscrambling trauma. Yes, it does. Oftentimes, you'll be hit with so much energy, you'll forget about some of those things that you're dealing with. Listen, once again, I can witness to this, that there are some things that, I was dealing with, contemplating, trying to figure out which direction to go in. And, I had viewed all these alternative possibilities, infinite possibilities. Let me call the one. Call up the one. We started talking. Listen, he hit me with the energy right away. And before I could start talking, I had my answer. He's like, yes, sir. I said, well, I got my answer now. And we laughed about it. But before I could even ask him a question, his energy automatically, because the connection already told me what to do. It was right on point. So what am I saying? The knowledge of the positive environment can change it. The knowledge of wisdom will change it. If we didn't know we had access to this, then we'll continue to walk in that impoverished mentality, in that state of mind. But so shall the knowledge of wisdom be unto you. All right, one other piece let me put out here, and we're going to put a pin here. All right. And again, this is research. I'm just not on a whim talking about this. Research. We've been talking about this for a long time. We've been proving it. Here's some other information. It says a positive, and I'm going to read this, a positive environment reverses behavioral symptoms. Again, by the author in this situation from the University of Zurich, Isabel Mansouri, professor of neuroepigenetics. Put this last piece out here. All right, let me check this timeline again. I just saw something. Our very own Sister Rhonda Moore said, wisdom is its own reward. You're absolutely correct. I concur. It's its own reward. Listen, there's nothing like wisdom or walking and talking with someone with an unlimited supply of wisdom. Man, that's a beautiful thing. Let's see. Sister Zakisha said, one of the mitigating factors that determine resiliency to trauma is community. Yes, indeed. Again, the blessing of presence of the right people, the right environment. Absolutely. The right environment, being placed in the right environment. The old adage is you're a product of your environment. Listen, we're always looking at that in a negative light. What about the positive side of it? Why aren't we a product of our positive environment? And listen, 100% of the time, I project a positive environment. So things that can transpire the right way even for me and for those that are connected to me. Am I saying things will always go perfectly the way we strategically set them up? No, not at all. But because we have access to so much information, we know how to maneuver around and we know how to navigate around certain situations. Listen, we used to call the one also the navigator, because he knows how to navigate us through these muddy waters. And that's what we're dealing with. Watch this. A positive environment reverses behavioral symptoms. That's the title. Mansouri's team of researchers. Let's see, make sure we got this on the timeline here. There we go. All right, if you can see that, come on and put those thumbs in the air and those emojis, those hearts. Don't forget to hit us with the laughter. Yes, we talked about this some time ago. I still say that laughter does a lot for us. It's a healing mechanism. All right, watch this. Mansouri's team of researchers has now demonstrated that for the first time, that such trauma-related behavioral alterations are reversible in mice. We talked about that earlier. If male mice exposed to trauma in early postnatal life live in pleasant conditions as an adult, watch this, their offspring returns to normal. Wow. So though they've experienced trauma as children, and then in their adult life, they begin to surround themselves in a positive environment, it automatically reverses it, and then their offspring doesn't experience it. I'm telling you that positive energy in the right environment, connecting with the right people will heal you from your situations. Yes, there are many different avenues and counsels and different things that we can deal with to help us through trauma. But it starts with a good environment. Listen, you can go to get counsel and go back to that same messy environment, and it'll take you back to that same place because there are always reminders. And that atmosphere is only conducive for chaos. So, first of all, being in a positive place, a positive environment, a positive atmosphere can reverse those symptoms. Watch this. It says, long after the traumatic experiences themselves, living in enriched conditions reverses the behavioral symptoms in adult animals and also prevents transmission of these symptoms to the progeny. Summarizes Isabel Mansui under her new findings. Man, that's powerful. So listen, what I'm telling you is that surround yourself with the right people. Surround yourself with the right words. Surround yourselves with yourself. Listen, nobody can beat you being you. I get that from the one. He said, nobody can beat me being me. I'm going to be the best me I can be, the best one of me that I can be. And I'm telling you now, if you have not started this process, you need to begin to really love yourself. You need to just stop and love yourself. Listen, man, I love me. I love being me. That doesn't mean I don't love somebody else, but I love being me. I love who I've been constructed to be. I love being the master teacher. I love being the teacher will appear. I love doing what I do. I mean, it gives me great joy, great pleasure. So because I love that, I can love you. I love my path. I love everything about me. Is everything perfect? Yes. Wow, he said he was perfect. Well, I found out from the one in a dissertation that he did, perfection doesn't mean not making a mistake. It means not lacking in no essential details. So now I have all the essentials that I need to get to the next one of me. So am I perfect? Yes. I'm lacking in no essential details. That's what that means. And listen, I admonish you, man, to go back and listen to these broadcasts. Go back and pull out these truth sessions. Talk to yourself. Meditate upon them. Sometimes you've got to rehearse it out loud and put it in your environment. Man, look at yourself in the mirror and, man, I've been beautifully constructed. You've got to say those things. You've got to get to a place where you love you. See, I need you to love you so you can love me. Yeah, I'll take the love. Those emojis you send to me, I take those. That's love. The hearts, the laughter, the thumbs up, the comments, the talkback system. That's love. So now I need you to step it up even more. Love yourself some more. Do something for yourself this weekend. I don't care how big or how small it is. Do something for yourself. Go do something that make you feel good. Man, play a song that make you feel good. I remember the Earth, Wind, and Fire talked about that. Sing a song. There are certain songs that, man, releases certain energies in us. Man, causes certain things to turn on in our minds, in our bodies. Listen, when I'm getting ready to prepare for the truth sessions, man, I put on some music and some songs that I really like, man, and just blast it. And man, I go to a place in my mind and man, it takes me there. And guess what I do after that? I go to my higher self just to sit down in my lower self of my higher self. Now I'm resolved. I'm resilient. I'm ready to break it down. Do what makes you happy. Do what makes you happy. Do what makes you love you. To cause you to love yourself, cause you to love yourself to the place where you can't wait to get up in the morning to see yourself in the mirror. Listen, I love seeing me. I love talking to me. I love blessing me. I love honoring me. Oh, come on, somebody. I love honoring me as a king. I can step out of me and honor me as a king. I recognize who I am. I recognize I have the ability to unscramble my own trauma. Oh, talk to me, somebody. You've got that same ability. You've got the love that you need. You've got the support that you need. You've got the energy that you need. You've got it. First of all, you're a Hugh man, you're a Hugh woman. You automatically have it. You don't have to conjure it up. You already got it. You just need to tap into it. Listen, I'm telling you, these series with trauma has been traumatic to trauma. It's been imposing trauma on top of trauma. Yes, a kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and a house divided cannot stand. So sometimes we've got to impose trauma on top of trauma so trauma can dissipate, dematerialize, go away, scramble. Listen, yes, you've been listening to the master teacher, Apostle T.E., at this week's truth session, sitting in the captain's seat for the one, the apostle, the prophet. Listen, we're going to put a pin here. We're going to say, hold what you got. Muse over it. Cogitate upon it. And as the one says, by all means, govern yourselves accordingly with this information. Let me do one quick check here. As we say, Shalom Alaikum, Mishpikah, family.
Shalom Alaikum.
Yeah.
Mishpikah family.
Yes.
Shalom Alaikum. Mishpikah family.
Sister Shakisha said, yes, Master Teacher, I told the one this week that I have been singing love songs to myself. See there? That's all I'm talking about. I leave in the manner in which I came. Shalom, shalom, family. That's Sister Rhonda Moore as well. Yes. We're going to let our very own Brother J.P. the Prophet take you on in. Shalom Alaikum, Mishpikah.